Welcome back to the pod. You are listening to What the Reality with me, Cassia Roberts, and we are back for another Toxic Tuesday episode. Claps all around the board. I am back officially for Toxic Tuesday. I will catch you guys up of why it was 3 instead of 2 weeks, but of course we're getting into Real Housewives of Atlanta, Real Housewives of Rhode Island, Southern Hospitality, Summer House, The Valley. We're talking about all reality TV in this comeback episode. Welcome to the pod. You're listening to What the Reality with me, Cassia Roberts. We are back with another Toxic Tuesday episode. Where have I been? What is going on? Okay, first of all, you guys know, new background unlocked, period. I'm in my new studio apartment. So first of all, I went to Florida, had to help my sister move out of Florida. Y'all, tell me why this girl is now in California. It don't stop with her. So now she has an internship for the summer before her grad school even starts in Dallas coming up for the fall. So now they then sent her to California for an internship with NASA. And so she was literally home for like 2 weeks. Okay, so we know I went to Florida to do that. She was graduating, moved back home. Then the following weekend, we were moving. Guys, my apartment is so cute. It's so chic. It's everything I envision. I'm obsessed with it. I love it. So that happened the week I said it would happen. Last week, I was supposed to be back on the mic, of course, and I was really excited to be coming back. I was so sick. Like, I don't like to ever say I'm sick because I really don't feel sick until I'm sick. And it was just like, I couldn't even record last week because it was just like, I cannot do it. I literally cannot do it. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to record. And it was so hard because I was like, I knew I wanted to come back after 2 weeks. Having 3 weeks off is insanity. I knew I wanted to come back, but it just didn't work out that way. So I literally was like, I'm just going to relax. This whole week, I've been relaxing. Why was I sick? Maybe it's because I've been on the move. I was in Florida, literally moving in a new space, bunch of different people, like not even community. It's not like dorm life, but it's just like, I'm around a bunch of germs and, I'm in a new space. I also think I did go to Don Tolliver. He came to a club. It was more of a club appearance. So I went to Don Tolliver the weekend, not my first weekend leaving, my first official weekend living here, and super excited. That man didn't come on until 1 a.m. So call it what you want, but would I have paid my hard-earned money to go to something like that again? Probably not. Honestly, it was kind of a waste. I'm not going to lie. And I got super sick from going out the night. That's why I was honestly sick. The place I didn't realize was outside. So the stage was outside. Everything else was inside. I'm still a little congested. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I feel a lot more better to record. Okay. But it was outside and it was a mosh pit. And I will never, for the life of me, ever be in a mosh pit again. I definitely see how Astroworld happened. The men have no decorum or class. Is everyone just shoving up to get the closest to the celebrity? It was a lot. And keep in mind, I'm 5'2". So I just feel like a lot of people were not very considerate of the short people. And I really could have gotten trampled on. I'm like, this is genuinely how Astroworld happened. Like, I can see it clear as day now. So that happened, right? woke up the next day, was feeling okay. I'm like, whatever. Sunday was when I was kind of like, I got a sore throat. Girls still went to brunch because when has that ever stopped a good brunch? You know, my brunches be 1 to 5. Like, it'd be a whole day activity, okay? Throat was a little scratchy, okay? But I'm like, I'm just going to take some leave, kick this. Monday, I wake up and it was like I was hit by a truck. Like, I just felt so exhausted. The throat had escalated to more of a cough. And then all last week, I was really sick. I had a really bad cough. I had a bad case of the chills. Looking back at it, was I sick? Yes. When I was going through it, I never said I was sick because I just feel like, oh my gosh, like I've been sicker. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not sick, but I was feeling sick. That don't stop nothing, obviously. I really wanted to record last week because we have so much to talk about. So much just went on. So much just went on to the point where I'm not even going to talk about everything we've missed. We're just going to talk about the reality shows that are out. That's what we're debriefing. But that is where I've been. If you guys have been following me on TikTok, you know, I've still been dropping my videos. Regardless, sick or not, my last video when I was still like feeling sick but getting over it, I still dropped a video. So we still are thugging it out over here. Like I said, I'm still congested, but I'm super excited to be back and be in my new space, free of distractions, and down for recording completely and talking shit as we always do. But we have to get into the lineup of things. I'm literally getting my phone up because it's just nonstop. Normally I have reality topics. I don't even have reality topics because it's just so much reality TV I want to talk about. We have to start, obviously, with Real Housewives of Atlanta. You guys have not heard my opinions on that unless you're tuning into my TikTok. But my normal listeners have not heard my genuine thoughts on the whole K. Michelle, Drew, Portia scheme of it all. Let's break down first what's happening in Atlanta. Real Housewives of Atlanta. Okay, we're like 3 episodes behind. We're not recapping it all. We're just going to recap like what's been happening recently. So the biggest buzz, I feel like, have been a couple of things going on. Well, first of all, if we want to ease into it, we can say people's positions on the show. I am getting so sick and tired of the Twitter naysayers. Every time I go onto Twitter, it is just like a negative cesspool of getting people fired from shows and wanting other people back. I talked about this on my TikTok. Every single person that is on Atlanta right now and even Rhode Island needs to literally remain and be on there. I think people are dumb for saying Kelly needs to be fired, Shamia needs to be fired, K. Michelle needs to be fired. You guys have never talked about this show as much. I think they're having their best season yet, and everyone is having a position to play, which is exactly why I'm going to stand on my business, because people were ragging on Pinky Cole, saying that she doesn't belong on the show, you know, she don't need to be here, when the same people are now like, okay, I may have misspoken about Pinky Cole. And it's just like you really have, because Pinky Cole honestly fits amazing on the cast. So we have that going on. The Twitter naysayers are saying they want to get Kelly and Shamia fired. They don't belong in K. Michelle. I personally think you need adversaries on these shows to make them interesting. I don't remember people getting the audience this upset besides Kenya Moore. And I talked about that in one of my TikTok videos. I was like, when Kenya Moore was on my screen, season 6, season 7, 8, 9, blah, 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 I could not stand Kenya Moore at all. I was like, please get her off of the screen. I was so honestly annoyed with her, and it just made me more engaged. Those were the best seasons looking back, honestly. Those were the best seasons of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Honestly, when Kenya Moore was on there, when it was Kenya versus Phaedra, Kenya versus Nene, like that's when it was so good. So it's like us, like the audience, like wanting Kelly, Shamia, and K. Michelle off because they're going against your fave. But let's honestly wake it up. Since when has Portia ever been the fave? Like, yes, she's like the global fan fave, and that can even be argued, because I would even say it's Phaedra, to be honest, globally. worldwide. Okay. But in terms of like Bravo, like, yes, Andy loves Portia. But even last season, I just feel like a lot of the Bravo audience has a lot of fake, what is it called? Like, they don't remember everything because last season, performative remembrance, what is it called? Guys, it's on the tip of my tongue. Blame it on me getting out of my sickness. I genuinely feel like we had this conversation last season when the people were like, you know what? We're actually Team Shamia because people were like, you know what? Portia's actually been a terrible friend to Shamia this whole time. And I will continue saying that she has been a terrible friend. And it started long before the rumors. You know, it started when I think Shamia is wanting to be on Housewives and she was looking for her good friend Portia to get her on. I think when Portia sided with Phaedra in that whole takedown of Candy, that's when her and Shamia's relationship really blew up, right? We have always said Portia has not been a good friend of Shamia. We kind of blamed it on, is it possible that she is jealous of her and the lifestyle she's living? Because they both really do want similar things. They both genuinely want this married life, but they want to be kept women, but they also want to have identities of their own. That's just what it is. And I think we see Shamia being a kept woman. She has an identity of her own. I would say she's a local Atlanta celebrity because it seems as though Shamia really knows a lot of the people. She used to work as a cheerleader and stuff, like for the Falcons or the Atlanta Hawks. Like, she is really, and then working in the radio industry over there in Atlanta. She's been really involved in that media world. Now, in terms of Portia, she really blew up with Housewives, right? And that trajectory just like took off. So she's more than a local celebrity. I would say Shamia is more of a local celebrity in Atlanta. And I feel like Portia is a lot more than a local celebrity. So I think these two women low-key want each other's lives. That being said, because Shamia is Portia's op this season, is a lot of like Twitter. I get the temperature check on Twitter a lot. There's a lot of naysayers saying they want Shamia off because they just think she's not a good friend. And I'm just like, well, they both haven't been good friends. People are also saying Shamia possibly has been telling Kelly all of Portia's dirty laundry, which is why Kelly has such a bone to pick with Portia. We do not know. All I know is I would not change that cast at all. I would leave all of them because they all bring something to the show, and that's what we need. Moving on from the whole Kelly and Portia situation, I mean, Shamia and Portia situation, let's move into this Kelly versus Portia situation. Portia maintains that Kelly has lied on her name. And I'm just like, where? Did you not say Angela better go sit down somewhere before I go F Charles Oakley? You said that last season. Did you or not know Fallon and then hooked up with Simon? Do you not have a history of hooking up with married men? I mean, I get it that we love Portia and that the people love Go Naked. I've tried Go Naked. I left a review. I was not fond of Go Naked. I thought it shed a lot for those bundles to be expensive. Like, I get it. Like, the folks love it. I even like Portia, but when has she ever not been a liar for real, for real? Like, I do think she's a liar. So that brings me to this whole Kelly and Portia conflict. Something, I don't know if I talked about it on the show. I don't know if this was brought up before I left, but the whole married pastor rumors, I think it has been. And now we're getting more into those rumors as the season goes on. And this is why Portia is so activated against Kelly, because Kelly maintained that she F's every married Nigerian in Atlanta, which could possibly be true. I don't know. Atlanta's whole obsession with Nigerians and these Africans is honestly insane to me. But Kelly, recently Portia was like, there was a big blow up. This isn't in the last episode, it was the episode before. It was a huge blow up. And Portia actually looked to Phaedra and was like, she slept with that married pastor. He's a client of yours. This has sent the Twitter world into a whole conspiracy of like, oh my gosh, who's the married pastor? Is it Jamal Bryant? That Phaedra, apparently that was Mr. Chocolate. Or is it, who's the other one? I was like, no, Shawnee O'Neill's man. And then there's another guy that apparently looks very similar to Kelly's ex that were saying that was possibly him and that he's very outspoken about his infidelity. on his wife. Ain't that something when the pastor is outspoken about it? Regardless, that sent Twitter into a frenzy. I actually have a theory, you guys. I think Phaedra is the one that shared this rumor to Portia. I think somebody told Phaedra. Phaedra fed it to Portia like she did the whole candy thing. And I think it's going to come out at the reunion. I think Phaedra has literally made the same mistake. And I think I'm really genuinely shocked no one's talking about it. And y'all, I literally had to cough. I think Phaedra literally made the same mistake that she did from season 9. I think that someone has told her about this rumor about Kelly hooking up with someone on this airplane. She told Portia about it. And Portia has now looking to Phaedra. If you guys notice, during all these conflicts, she's like, Phaedra, you know it's true. Like, you're the one that said. And Phaedra is trying to hush her. I think possibly Phaedra has made the same sort of accusation, not to the same impact, but she's made something similar about someone doing something in their free time and has disclosed it to Portia. I genuinely believe that this is all stemming from Phaedra, and I'm really shocked. I might make a TikTok video about it. I'm genuinely shocked no one has connected the dots that this is possibly a scheme that Phaedra has set up. So we got that going on. Let's talk about the other scheme that is going on. K. Michelle has totally lost it on Drew, Portia, and Phaedra via Twitter. She didn't even want to tell them. So that's something we also didn't talk about in the pod because I was gone. So K. Michelle has it in her head, or it was told to her, it was disclosed to her that these 3 women were coming for her: Portia, Phaedra, and Drew Sidora. What I will say, it is a possibility that someone definitely told her this. Was it Shamia? I don't think so. I don't know why Shamia is getting the hit for this. What else I will say, is there a possibility people are scheming off camera? Yes, it is housewives. Should K. Michelle have said anything regarding these rumors? I don't think she should have. I honestly think that she should have let it kind of play out. And you know what they say, like, let your enemy look like the fool, you know? I don't even think she should have brought him up. What is the scheme? Now we're learning what the scheme is. So the scheme was basically to revive some old school rumors that her, for lack of better words, vagina smelled. And I want to say this because when you watch the episode, and yes, I'm going back like 2 episodes when this happened. When you watch the episode, I did think it was a weird scene how Portia and them are all at dinner, and then suddenly Portia's playing with the oyster, and she's like, wait, let me check to see if this oyster's clean. And she's like playing with it. The camera flips to Phaedra, and then it also flips to Drew, who Drew makes like a, and then you can see K. Michelle like rolling her eyes on the side. Because Kelly and Portia had a falling out, and Kelly had basically called Portia's vagine hot Frito chili cheese pie. Like, ill. But honestly, I thought it was kind of funny. I thought it was a read. People assumed that it was just referring to what Kelly has said. However, K. Michelle took that as, you're trying to talk about my vagine. I didn't know about this rumor, and that's why I said K. Michelle really screwed herself over, because I personally didn't know about this rumor. Apparently, this is something a disgruntled ex of hers has said. So we have that. We also learned in this last episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta what else was a part of the scheme. She said what it was to make it seem as though she knew Black more than what she knew. And then also to talk about her toes being long. And I was just like, girl. So my issue with K. Michelle, and the thing is like, I really was excited for K. Michelle to join the show. And I know you guys are like, oh my gosh, Cachet, you said you were excited about K Michelle. I'm still very intrigued by her, but her behavior is very off-putting for me. I will continue to say this. I think K Michelle thought she was getting onto a show similar as to Love and Hip Hop, but she knew it was different. But I think she knew coming on to here, like, oh, I'm in the room with a bunch of people that know people. And I think it's different with being on Love and Hip Hop. Love and Hip Hop, she was kind of the hottest one in the room. You know, she was the one with the record deal on the table. She was the one that was considered actual singer. I think K Michelle has a hard time, and she's always like kind of referring to her time in Atlanta and what has happened in Atlanta. I think she has a very difficult time accepting the fact that she's not the hottest in the room. And I think she's very insecure about making relationships with other women. And I think it really shows on these last couple episodes because she keeps saying, Portia, you don't run Atlanta. And it's like, girl, who is saying Portia runs Atlanta but you? I think she's very insecure. I think she's trying to align herself with the right people. Now, all of a sudden, you don't have an issue with Phaedra when at first you really thought you were going to have an issue with her because white women love Phaedra, which I'm just like, and there's something she also brings up on Watch Robin's Live. And then what else does she say that's just kind of like a red flag? I just think she is so scarred from her experience on Love and Hip Hop. And it's like, not everybody even watched Love and Hip Hop, K Michelle. I also think it's because the audience, the Bravo audience was like, we don't want Love and Hip Hop on Real Housewives of Atlanta. We didn't want the shows mingling, but honestly, the reality TV world has gotten smaller and smaller. Black shows are being canceled left and right. I just felt like I personally was excited for her to join. So I feel like she just has so much stuff going on that she's literally, and I said this, editing herself in real time and it's kind of like, in a way, you're not coming off as your authentic self. She's not coming off as her authentic self. She's coming off very just defensive. I said that she's very defensive with Drew. I don't know what's going on with Drew. I don't know if there was things happening behind the scenes. I think out of all the women, though, if you have an issue with Drew, Phaedra, and Portia, out of all the women, she's super hostile towards Drew. And it does seem like a layup because we all know the girls that get on there, they end up going for Drew. I mean, Drew brought on Sonya. Sonya ended up turning on Drew instantly. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like, I understand what K Michelle means about it being a scheme. I could totally understand that, but I think she should have let it play out. But then I also don't understand her heat and drama for Drew in this obsession with Black, especially if you are a married woman. Why do you keep bringing up the fact that you know Black? Is there more there? It seems like there is more there. It seems like there's more in the buttermilk, K Michelle. And I don't know what her issue is with Drew. And she's constantly comparing her career to Drew. And it's honestly giving monitoring spirit. Like, it's giving, you've been watching Drew Sidora for a while. You went to the TLC premiere, the reboot. It wasn't a reboot, it was the documentary. Drew Sidora was in it, you know, Keke Palmer was in it, and Lil Mama was in it. So it's just kind of like, you were there actually at the premiere on the red carpet. You're well aware of Drew. So now she's really reducing her just to Drew to be Sidora. And I'm just like, you know, Drew has a catalog and a resume. And I'm not going to take from K Michelle because I don't think it's cool what she's doing to Drew. K Michelle is a dominating singer, but let's be real. I'm about to go to her Apple right now. When was the last time K Michelle had a hit? Let's literally look, because I think it was like 2012. And like her recent stuff, like I'm happy she wants to do the country stuff. Not everyone can do it, clearly. What did I say? The last time she literally had a hit, and I'm talking about an album hit, I would say is 2017. We are in 2026 now. The last she had an album, All Monsters Are Human, that did not do well. And then she had one in 2023, I'm the Problem. And it's not even loading right now. Like, is that album not even out? You can't even see it. You can't even see it. The last time she really had a hit song, though, was, I would say, 2014. I would give her 2016. I'll give her 2016 because that album was good. The one I was just looking at. Was that 2016, though? That was 2017. Kimberly, The People I Used to Know. That was the last time she literally had a hit. 10 years ago. And so it's like for you to constantly, if anything, I do think Drew Sidora would be in your catalog of matchups, right? So I don't know what her obsession is with the constant, like, oh my gosh, Drew to be Sidora, Drew her face. I mean, face still looks the same. I'm sorry, K Michelle, you have had so much surgery done. You do not look like the same girl that was on Love and Hip Hop. So I don't like what K Michelle is doing and referring to in terms of Drew Sidora and her looks. I really think it's lowbrow, and I think you need to get some better material. I think K Michelle genuinely thought she was going to come onto the show as the HBIC, and she didn't recognize that there are already HBICs on here. First of all, you should have known Portia was already a HBIC. She's the one that brought you in the group. You should have already known about Phaedra, right? I just find it really interesting how she's trying to go for the top dogs or like find problems with the people that she's aligned herself with, which is Kelly and Shamia. And I don't have a problem with Kelly or Shamia. Like I said, I think everyone on that show needs to stay. We'll get into Kelly. I mean, we'll get into Shamia and Angelo really quickly. But other than that, I'm just like, K Michelle, you're really losing the audience in me, because it's like I was genuinely rooting for K Michelle in this space. And I was just like, oh, period. Like, I'm so here for this. But I don't know. Obviously, I want her to come back, and I think she will come back. But she's very insecure with her place on this show. And she's not comfortable. And this makes sense because Portia did an interview with Carlos King basically saying, I think K Michelle's going to look back and realize how many mistakes she made kind of with this show or with her first season. And I think, and hopefully she comes in the second season not acting a fool. Like all this other like insider stuff, like what are they doing behind the scenes? Don't worry about behind the scenes. When the stuff is on camera, that's what we need to worry about. If they are bringing it up on camera, that's when you defend yourself. Now, unless you want to bring it up, the fact that it took us 2-3 episodes just to find out what the scheme, the plot, the setup was, is honestly uncanny. It's like I'm disinterested now. So when you're telling me it was about your toes, I'm like, are we talking about people's toes? Speaking of people's toes and feet, let's talk about Angel Oakley. Let's talk about Angel Oakley. Gorgeous girl, big feet, whatever. Nothing on Mia Thornton though. And I don't know why Shamia keeps pointing out that she has big feet. Like Shamia, you was like, let me stop, because whenever I cough, it's probably because I'm being messy. But Shamia, you and Angela are like the same size now. Shamia's body, insane. Her and Angela, though, they get into an argument. I'm talking about the most recent episode. Now they've kind of like laid the groundwork of where everyone is within the group. Shamia and Angela just had to sit down, and it did not go well because the girls, I don't know why Angela brought up Candy. I don't know why Angela brings up her relationship with Shamia and Portia. Angela's really convinced that Shamia only has it out for her because she broke up her and Portia. I think I don't know if Shamia still blames her for that. We didn't get a clear answer. What we did get was on spot confessionals, which I absolutely loved, and what we did get was a little interesting tea. So Angela admitted that basically Charles be outside because he see Shamia, and Shamia's like, well, your man's outside if he sees me. The folks be outside. And then she also drops some history on just kind of like that there's a possibility that the only reason Shamia has gotten to where she is because she is sleeping with Falcons players. Shamia is a married woman. We know she loves Gerald. Another thing to talk about with the whole Gerald Shamia situation is his want for a son. And I don't know how much that is of him saying it because we haven't heard him say it. We just know Shamia really wants to give him a son. And I think we finally understand why there's been these conversations about it. I think she feels like she owes it to him. I think like any woman that is a kept woman that is living a very beautiful lifestyle. And it's like, that's the one thing you can't really give your significant other is a son. I think it really blows, but I also think she's very concerned about the healthiness of her babies. So I don't know. People are like, he's gonna leave her. I don't know if he's gonna leave her. He doesn't like to film. We can say that, but I thought that was interesting. And now we know that she be outside. That's what Angela said. The girls go back and forth. I genuinely would hope they could move on because I don't even think Angela really likes Portia. Like, I think Angela is playing the long game. I think she is becoming a vet. I think she's learning the game because every second she gets in the confessionals, she is shading Portia. She understands who Portia is really directly and she sees her. They see each other, okay? So if Shamia is still holding on to her friendship breakup with Portia because of something that Angela said, I would personally say, girl, it ain't that deep. Like, maybe, like, let's let it go because I'm pretty sure Angela don't even like Portia because every single chance she gets, she is shading her. But I don't know. Atlanta, the midseason dropped. We got a sneak peek of the girls going to Scotland. It looked really good. We see Phaedra tapping into her traders mode, all of the good stuff. And what else did we see? We see a sit down with Shamia and Portia, which is long overdue. The mid-season trailer looked really good. Hopefully, I don't know. Like I said, this season has been really good. I honestly have no notes. I'm just really not disappointed in K Michelle. I'm just like, I think I expected more based on her being a reality TV show vet. I understand where a lot of her hesitancies come because especially like your first introduction to the group or the group of girls, like Portia sitting you down to get her lick back with someone. So you like, this is how they do it over here? Like, you're kind of like, you done brought me into this group. I'm just waiting for you to do that to me, basically. So I understand K Michelle, but I also think a big part of her has imposter syndrome. Like, girl, do you know who you are? Like, why are you so threatened? And I think another part of her, do you know Black? Who is this man? And I also heard he's like facing an actual like federal case or something because of like his tobacco or nicotine products or his hookah products. I don't know what's going on over there. I got to look into that. I'll update you guys on the next Toxic Tuesday because I want to talk about reality shows right now. But yeah, I can't figure out K Michelle. And hey, maybe that's a good thing. It's keeping us fed. It's keeping us all fed. I want to talk about Summer House. Summer House, the end as we know it. If we're talking about that end of the show in general before we even get into the reunion, the final episode was very weird. Like I said, it was definitely giving like goodbye. I don't see a world where Kyle, Lindsay, Carl, and Amanda even return to Summer House. I don't even see a world where Wes does. I definitely think Sierra would give the network a, you know, I'm gonna say, would it be a ultimatum? I don't know. The thing is, this difference with Summer House and Vanderpump Rules. Vanderpump Rules, Ariana quite literally could refuse to film with Tom Sandoval. She didn't have to do that, or she did it. I'm just saying she would never have to film with him. When you're in Summer House, though, you guys are all confined in the same summer house, so it's kind of difficult to be like, hey, can we not film with this person? So I see Sierra Miller saying, I'm not returning if West is returning 110%. Now the ratings would be insane for a Summer House where West, Amanda, and Sierra are back in the same house. Either way, that final episode, definitely we highlighted the issues with, Kyle and Amanda. She didn't even want to speak to him. And then we know that went straight into In the City premiere. We also got some very touchy-feelies between Amanda and Wes, which even Carl apparently had caught on to, which we're going to get into the reunion, which was amazing. But yeah, I genuinely believe that because of Kyle's behavior this past season, I think everyone really thought that, I think Wes thought that Amanda was going to get this amazing edit. But now that and I think he was going to be like painted as like the superhero, like someone that rescued her from her verbally abusive, drunken husband. Like, I was the friend that was there and we just slowly developed. I think they were really trying to edit their love story in live time so they didn't seem like assholes, but it came out too quick and the people love Sierra. Sierra's the people's princess. So Unfortunately, he shot his reputation, his and Amanda's, so much that they're in Rome, Italy, as the reunion is literally airing. Let's get into the reunion. And then I want to get into In the City. And there's a couple of things I want to talk about, guys. It's been so long. I want to talk about the Valley in Rhode Island and then Love Island. I want to talk about a lot. Why not? Okay, so let's get into this reunion. Amanda and Wes really could not give two F's about who they hurt. And it's so clear. I made a TikTok video. I don't know if it is because of their use of drugs, alcohol, and antidepressants. Obviously, if you need antidepressants, use them. But I do think there's some sort of empathy and sympathy you look for in people that have wronged you. And they don't show it at all. They are totally out of it. They're zen, they're zooted out, and that to me tells me you are mixing something with something, and I don't care. I'm gonna say it. I think they're high AF at the reunion, and I don't think they really care. Let's talk about the timeline. Sierra started getting suspicious of Amanda and Wes literally in January. Keep in mind, the Amanda and Kyle didn't announce their breakup until literally February, was it? Or March? I think it was February, March. And then we see more stuff speculating. But Sierra really started getting a little optimistic in January because of certain things Amanda was doing. Amanda would be hanging out at West a lot. Her location would be off. You know, she would text like, hey, let's hang out. And she wouldn't respond. So Exhibit A. I might be doing, you guys know I have a part 1 of What's the Reality on Amanda West and Sierra Wilson Love Triangle. I might be doing definitely a part 2 now that this reunion is airing and getting like all of the timelines out together. Regardless of that, I thought the reunion was amazing. It was very difficult to watch. So like I said, it's hard to watch two people genuinely not think they don't have anything to apologize for. It's hard. Even Amanda was getting some sass with Sierra, and I'm like, girl, who are you talking to? Like, who does she really think she's talking to? It's honestly insane to me. It was just insane. But the most insane is perhaps the monologue that Lindsay and Sierra both gave at the end. Lindsay, just calling out Wes. And keep in mind, Lindsay actually brought Wes Wilson on to Summer House. So how upsetting this is. And then, of course, Sierra, saying that, you know what, Amanda probably is the perfect girl for someone like Wes because she is a weak figure. So much so, Kyle and his amazing skin, Kyle has never looked his best, turned to her to say, you know what, that one was probably a little too harsh. She's your wife, not mine. I live. Never thought in 2026 I would be Team Sierra Miller, regardless, because of her past. I'm looking forward to the second part. It was difficult. KJ, I don't know if reality TV is for KJ, and I say that with the most sincere heart. He seems to be getting involved in things and letting it affect him too much. Like, I understand West is your friend, and it's like you really thought like he wouldn't do something like this. I think KJ just finds himself in a difficult situation because he's like, I'm really cool with, Sierra and Mia now. And then he's also like, but Wes is my day one. He's one that brought me into this group. So maybe he is fun. Like, it's like a conflict between like mommy and daddy. But I don't know. I just don't know if he should even be in a relationship, let alone reality TV. I think he's letting like a lot of the comments affect him. I just think he's letting a lot of the outside, and he did say he was diagnosed with BPD, which is not bipolar disorder. It's borderline personality disorder. I pray for KJ's mental health, but I think the best thing for his mental health quite literally might be not to be on a reality show because it just might be a little too much for him. I don't know if him and Dara are still together. I think they are still together. I think it was a PR tactic to act like they're not together. And then apparently he dropped a music video. So now he's a musician. Yeah. So what else is going on? Let's talk about this In the City premiere. I don't care enough about these random people. I want to see the fallout between Amanda and Wes. I mean, Amanda and Kyle. Like, I'm like, which guy am I saying? Someone tweeted something the other day. It made so much sense. The fact that she started as a side piece is now is ending as a side piece. Honestly, insane. And it's like you literally got with someone that literally looks like Kyle, just like 10 years younger. The gag is Kyle looks so much hotter than Wes, though. Like so much hotter. I don't know if I care about all these new people. I don't even care about Andrea and his girl. Like everyone's like, oh my gosh, Andrea's back on her screen. I don't really care because when Paige DeSorbo picked Craig Conover, that was chapter closed. I mean, I was like, why would you do that? I mean, obviously, like, why would she do that? But that was kind of the chapter closed for Andrea. I don't really care about him. His wife's on there. I don't know if I really care about the new group of people. I'm very interested though in the two black men on in the city. I don't know their names. I think one of their names is Gavin, like he owns the club, and then the other one's like goes way back with Kyle, but it was actually like calling Kyle a lush on TV, which I think Kyle on Watch Happens Live said he did not like him saying. So I'm interested in those two situations, kind of, especially because like Lindsay's really close to Gavin and looks like she's coming for the other guy because he's like, why are you moving this girl from California to New York without a ring? Basically, you guys have only been dating for a year. I get it. Did you move for the show? And then I want to hear about this whole Danielle and Lindsay because I was someone that I genuinely did like Danielle and Lindsay's friendship. I felt like they really genuinely had each other's back, and I'm like, period, I live for it. But I don't know. I just feel like I understand Lindsay's frustration with Danielle. Like every season, there's something different going on with her. Like she's like, there's always something with Danielle. Like it's like she's always throwing a shot towards Lindsay in some way or coming for her. And I think it's very hypocritical that the same Danielle that made fun, or not even made fun, but you criticize Lindsay, for getting pregnant. She knew this guy for like 2 months or whatever. And then prior to that, you're telling her that her and Carl are moving awfully too fast. When I think you honestly were just jealous at Lindsay's natural progression in these relationships, and now you're over here pregnant. Danielle is pregnant, perhaps that would be on the reality topics, by this man that apparently was married or is still married or going through a separation, and they've only been dating for like 5 months and they've already moved in together. Now we're seeing it in the city. A lot of the stuff she was criticizing Lindsay on, I genuinely think she was just projecting because she wanted all of that stuff. And now you're pregnant, you're having a baby with this man. I'm interested in Lindsay kind of calling it out. Like, hey, I've realized over the course of our friendship, it got to a point where you're kind of just like critiquing my whole life. And it's like now all of this stuff is happening for you. Like you critiqued me and Carl's progression of our relationship, and now here you are moved in with this guy, moving super fast. And yeah, I think Lindsay loves to keep a list. She likes to keep a list and check it twice of things people just started doing. And she's just kind of like, you know what? You're kind of a bad friend to me. And I don't know when that love turned into jealousy, because they genuinely did have a real friendship. But along the lines, across somewhere, Danielle started to envy her. And I think that's when her and Carl got together. She was like, I don't understand why they are together. That's that. Let's talk about, so yeah, other than that, like I said, I don't really care about like those other couples in the city. Maybe I'll eventually end up caring. As of now, I don't care. And that's just the real. Let's talk about the Valley. A couple things. I don't know if Danny and Nia, okay, everyone on that cast drinks. Everyone on there has a drinking problem. Brittany's always talking about she's getting a mommy makeover. Girl, in order for the mommy makeover to stick, you do realize you're going to have to cut back on your drinking of liquor and change your diet completely. Just saying. They all have a problem with drinking. The only people I would genuinely say can actually say something to Danny are Lala, Michelle, period. Those are the only two people, because they all literally do have a drinking problem. However, the issue with Danny and Nia is that whenever someone brings this up, they think it's about his drinking. It's not. It's about how he acts when he drinks, and specifically how he acts towards Nia. Okay, because I was like, why is Lala saying something? But I'm like, you know what, Lala, you may be right, because it's a lot more than just him drinking. It's the behavior when you start drinking. You turn into a completely different person. I think Danny does talk to Nia insane. I think that the fact that she's going through postpartum and she just had her baby Adelaide, who looks just like Danny, by the way. She's so cute. She just had her baby. You're not really trying to help out. It does seem like he just wants to drink and party. It is kind of cringe. And then we're kind of watching Nia wanting to cover up his behavior. It was almost like she wants to cover it up, but she doesn't. Like, she's like, stop talking. But she's like, also like, you know what? I just kind of want him to run it to the ground. Which we do know is that Danny was supposed to be on Watch Weapons Live with Luke. Recently. I think it was like a week, 2 weeks ago. And this is like the height of everything we're kind of seeing. I think it was a week ago. And we do know he canceled that appearance because he probably couldn't stand the heat. He's looking very bad right now. He was mocking Lala, saying, "Oh, like now you trigger me." Like his behavior when he's drinking is insane. And my question is like, should Danny and Nia stay on the show? So now we're finally seeing what the cast was saying last season about, like, you know, them pretending to be this perfect couple. Like, that's clearly what they've been trying to do. And now we're kind of seeing those cracks kind of show, and it's not really giving perfect couple. So I don't know. All I know is it's difficult for me to say, because it's like, just because I'm understanding what I'm seeing does not mean I like Janet on this cast any further. But were they on to something? You know, he seems to totally flip when he starts drinking, and I don't like the way he's talking to Danny. I mean, I don't like the way he's talking to Nia, his own wife. So I understand why Lala says something, because it would be very uncomfortable to be in that room and to hear the way he is talking to her, because the way he talks to her, guys, honestly insane. That alone. Jesse has finally signed the divorce papers. What we do know is that Jesse was not trying to sign those divorce papers because he is in a lot of debt. He was doing things during COVID he has no business doing. He literally was taking out PPP loans. $300K, spent it all. Didn't even tell Michelle. And keep in mind, they were married at this point. Now Michelle wants to divorce this man so bad, she's willing to take half of that. She's like, you know what? I told them I will eat it up and I will pay the $150K. Perhaps what I should have mentioned on my reality topics is the fact that Michelle was spotted out with Dr. Dre, and that she's possibly perusing and caressing with Dr. Dre and like on his jet and everything. Like, I did not know. I was not aware of Michelle's game. Like, she is with apparently she's dating Dr. Dre. So if she does owe now the half that Jesse owes, she's gonna eat that up. Like, I'm sure Dr. Dre will pay it off or whatever like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if they're in a relationship, but they're like dating. They were seen, you know, holding hands, and then she was just seen on a jet on Instagram. She uploaded, and they're saying that's Dr. Dre's jet. So I think Michelle was like, you know what, this is fine. Maybe she was talking to him then. Or, you know, I think she sells a lot more houses than Jesse. I think she's a better real estate agent. She gets the sales done a lot quicker than he does. And I think she's smarter with her money. I think Jesse, she said he blows his money. He was spending his money on $12,000 bottles of wine and champagne. So I don't know. The fact that he literally took out that much of a loan, and this is why it's always like, who the F did you marry? Because why are men so bad at managing their finances? Like, that is my honest worst fear, is getting with a man that does not know how to finance his money. I already have a difficult time spending my money. So it's like, to get in a relationship with someone that's worse than me would not be smart. And you really got to think down the line. I think Jesse needs the Valley. I think all of them need the Valley, quite frankly, except for Michelle. And I don't even think Janet and Jason need it. Or I think Janet just wants to be famous. But I don't know. I don't think Michelle really needs the Valley. I really don't. I want to talk about, guys, there's so much to talk about. Okay, let's talk about Southern Hospitality really quick, and then we're going to talk about Rhode Island, because we have to talk about Rhode Island. Southern Hospitality, that was the most amazing finale ever. And it better get renewed. I know they are getting a reunion, a typical reunion, a proper Bravo reunion. So hopefully that is enough to renew it. A couple of things. Michaels did get demoted. I think it's insane that that was an email and not just told to him. I am very interested in the reason why he was demoted. They said it was to kind of like help him, that he can chase his other dreams and like be a model and stuff or whatever. But I think there was a reason he was demoted, and Love was kind of sparing him on camera. But I think it's insane that they just emailed him that on a random day. Other than that, we do know Michael's had a conversation with his mom, and I think it's really interesting that she thinks that he lies, because I do get a feeling that he does lie, and I don't know if it's for the camera, but Michaels has a few things he has to work on as he stays in this reality TV business and wants to have relationships, at least with females. The way he talks to females is honestly insane. And then, I do think he has a lying problem. So I did think it was very interesting that his mom was like, you want to know why I don't talk to you is because you constantly are lying on me. And I was just like, that's very interesting. She says that. Other than that, Joe has decided to go to Leva with a non-business proposal. I'm calling it a non-business proposal because he had nothing prepared. He was talking about wedding events, concerts, a rooftop. A lot of things sounded amazing, but none of it flowed effortlessly. None of it made sense. I don't understand. Okay, I had to cough again. I don't know what kind of business proposal that was. It honestly seemed a mess. And the gag is, like, in the same episode, Leva turned around and she's launching a new bar. It's called On Air. So her reaction to Joe and Maddie has been receiving some mixed reviews. I personally think she should have went in on them, because it's like he literally disappears to travel with Maddie to DJ. Like, you're not even like a PR person. You're not even like promoting it or anything. Like, you're there as her supportive boyfriend because you're like, oh my gosh, this relationship is like what's going to work out and all this stuff. You leave your job, which apparently he was getting paid salary to only show up for 3 nights, as he talks about barely getting paid. Either way, you're getting paid salary to show up for only 3 nights. So while you're saying you're barely getting paid, who do you know? And I will always be so grateful for iHeartMedia for this, because I basically was like getting paid salary. I mean, it was a low salary, yes, to do a certain amount of hours when really I was only doing X amount of hours. And it's because they knew it was like an internship that they had kind of morphed into a part-time. So it was like I was able to log a certain amount of hours, even though I wasn't working those full hours. Is that illegal? I don't know. Should I have said that? Ooh. Anyway, I don't know. Like, she literally went in on them. Like, they are delusional, Maddie and Joe, if they think he should even own a bar. I think Joe is constantly trying to play pick up. He's constantly trying to keep up with Maddie because Maddie's doing these amazing things. I don't see how she's genuinely interested in him. That is a relationship that makes no sense to me. I feel like she is beyond her years with him. And I think he's just weighing her down. I think he just wants to follow her around like a puppy dog and impregnate her so she can sit down. Like, I don't see how that relationship's gonna work. But Leva was like, you are insane to think I would include you on anything. And she was like, this was supposed to be your bar, but you dropped the ball this last year. You really have. Like I said, the business proposal was not a business proposal. I'm super excited for the reunion. I really hope Southern Hospitality gets renewed. The only reason I'm afraid it won't get renewed is because it's really been overshadowed by this whole mess of Summer House. Like, I feel like people were really talking about Southern Hospitality, but they stopped talking about it. And I want them to continue talking about it because this season has actually been really good. I don't know where Emmy goes with this show. I don't think she has friends in the group at all. I don't think she needs to be on at all. But yeah, I really enjoyed Southern hospitality. I want to talk about Rhode Island because we are now watching the tides turn. We are now seeing the fandom go against Liz and uplift Alicia, which we've always been doing. And I actually said something, I don't know if I said on my pod, but I was talking to someone about it. It's like I kind of do understand what Liz sometimes mean about Alicia. I do think Alicia is always like, I want to crack her. Like, I'm just like, girl, I get it. Like, I do see how she could be kind of annoying. That said, I don't know why Liz is willing to die on this hill and to very much so invalidate um all of all of Alicia's experiences growing up. What we do know is that Alicia and Liz's mom are apparently Alicia's sister and Liz's mom are apparently like good friends. Because of that, I think Liz genuinely is like, you were never homeless growing up. Like, I grew up with you. Like, the way I think Liz is being a little too technical with the whole homelessness thing. Yes, when you think homeless, you don't have anywhere to go. Because of Alicia's parents, her dad's doings, they were displaced from their home and they had to move in with her grandparents. She went from having a bedroom, a playroom, to sharing a room with her mom. That technically is, homelessness. It's like, I was homeless. I had to go live with my grandparents, right? Or it technically is not, because it's like you had somewhere to go. When we think homelessness, we think you're out on the street, like literally begging for change. When honestly, it'd be the scammers begging for change. Like, if you're homeless, you're never begging for change, honestly. You're begging for change to get some cigarettes. When there's those people holding up those signs like, oh my gosh, a family just trying to do what they can, those are scammers. Those are biggest scammers, and they're always in the most high profitable areas. I know it for a fact. They're always scammers. So don't give your money to those people, guys. Give your money if you want to help. Buy a sandwich. That's what they always say. Because you know what? Homeless people never really want food. They just want money so I can buy cigarettes and drugs. Honestly, I digress. Was Alicia homeless in the terms of she was out on the street asking for change? No. However, did she lose her home? Yes. So I don't know why Liz is really going to bat on this. I still like all the girls. I think Liz is doing entirely way too much. I think it's not your story to tell. And I think she feels like it's her story to tell because she knows Alicia growing up with her, or her sister does growing up with her. I think she's trying to, I do think there's a part of Liz that is trying to protect her, but she's also like, Alicia, you're just making up stories. So I don't know where this relationship is going. What we have seen is that the relationship with Joellen and Alicia seems to be completely done. And what I will say, Alicia has been questioning Joellen's motives throughout this entire season. This hasn't just came out of the blue, though some may say it has. I will say she has been questioning this woman's motives for a while and has been saying certain stuff. Do I think Joellen did too much in that scene? I'm talking about the scene where they're like arguing, Joellen follows her out. It's at Frank Sinatra Sunday night or whatever, for Rosie's husband. I think when you are visibly upset and you have someone that's constantly like, oh my gosh, you're okay, like you're a good friend, like, oh my gosh, like I love you so much, that is so nagging. I'm like, can you honestly shut up? Like, that is actually so annoying. So I understand what Liz is talking about. Joellen but I also understand Joellen. I'm not upset at Joellen, but I do think Joellen does play both sides of the fence, because at dinner she was saying one thing and then here you're saying another thing. And I understand Liz. I've been said sorry 12 times. How many times do I have to apologize to this girl? And why do you keep saying that this girl, like, it's just a lot going on? But take it from anyone. If someone says leave me alone, leave them the F alone. Stop asking them, are they okay? Stop trying to kiss up to them. If somebody is annoyed, leave them alone. Like, so Joellen, it's kind of like you're antagonizing the situation, and it's like you're kind of provoking me with the constant questions to constantly, oh my gosh, like you're this amazing person, blah, blah, blah. Like, can we please not? Joellen and Alicia's relationship, Joellen and Liz's relationship is not well. We learn in the Watch What Happens Live. or we learn in the after show that Liz has made it pretty clear that she really does not like Joellen. She cannot be trusted. But I will say Joellen will not back down from Liz. I'm shocked I think Liz is going to be upcoming on Watch Up and Slide with Pinky Cole this upcoming Sunday. And maybe she'll answer to some things. We know when she wigged out at Kelsey, she was very apologetic and she was just kind of like, I shouldn't have done that. I'm wondering if it'll be the same when she's on. I'm not thinking it will be the same, but we'll see. I don't think her and Joellen are in a good place. The reunion seating chart was already dropped. We do know that Alicia and Liz will be first seeds, which was anticipated. Did we talk about Kelsey versus Rosie? I was obviously team Rosie because I just felt like Kelsey is low hanging fruit. It's so now we're finding out that you and this man have been broken up for 2+ years, but you want to bring it on the show as you guys are together. It's kind of fake. You don't own a house. You don't have a man. It's you're constantly ragging on Rosie. I do think there's some jealousy there. I'm very interested to see that play out. But in general, I think Rhode Island is a really good show. I really do think it's a good show. I like all of the ladies. We learned that RHOA was actually supposed to be a friend of, and that makes so much more sense because she really is in the background. I will say most of the time she doesn't come to group events and stuff. It seems like she's really trying to avoid Joellen as well. I will say that. Other than that, Rhode Island is keeping me fed, y'all. I don't know what else to say. I was team Rosie in the way that whole scene happened with just them. Honestly, renew it for 10 more seasons. I'm here for it. Let's talk. I just finished Euphoria. No spoiler alerts because I just finished it. I know people are still watching it, but amazing ending. The fact though that it took 7 years to produce 3 seasons, let's not normalize that. Love Island is returning. When you guys hear this, back for Toxic Tuesday, Love Island will be returning. We already know that a woman has been removed. I think her name was Vanessa. She was using racial slurs, and I think they're also removing a man. So it's going to balance out it's going to even out the playing field for how many men and women they have. I think he was including some controversies. What I will say is, I think Love Island should maybe change their. Because of season 6, it's just honestly been insane. I want to go back to when no one really was watching the USA and everyone's watching the UK. Both of them are premiering actually. I think UK is premiering tonight, but the US won't be able to watch that for another 2 weeks, which is fine. And then the USA is premiering Tuesday night. I don't know. Maybe Love Island should stop dropping the cast before they even come up, because this is my client, this is who I'm standing with. The fact that they got an exact Delandria lookalike, I'm this is honestly insane. This season, I really just want a peace of mind of watching. I just really want it to be fun. I'm really hoping there's no toxicity as much as it was last season. We're going to see. They haven't casted a Huda lookalike, thank the Lord, so maybe they're leaving that in the past, but it is honestly insane how this one girl looks like it's supposed to be the next Delandria. I'm already seeing it set up, even though they don't look alike. It's the same build, big breasts, skinny, I don't know. I'm excited for Love Island, but I just know the fans are not well and they'll never be well. I made a comment about Taylor and Clark on my TikTok just from watching Beyond the Villa. And the people were insane for that. I just said it wasn't going to work. And look, I think they're still together. And I think it's good that they're still together. I was saying based on Beyond the Villa. It's not I just get on the internet. I'm I'm thinking about Taylor and Clark today. Let me make a video about them. No, I was watching Beyond the Villa. And this was my thoughts based on Beyond the Villa on that episode. My thoughts have changed by the end of it. It seems as though they figured it out. But by that episode, I was watching it. One thing, it's just the mental mind of these fans have for these people that they don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a very interesting summer, but I look forward to always having something to watch, and that is with Love Island. And like I said, I used to love Love Island. I've always been a Love Island girl. And so it is insane that it's blown up like this to this insanity. But you guys, I think that is what we're calling it. Anticipate the next Toxic Tuesday. I'll have so much more energy and I'll be a lot more messier when I can fully breathe. I'm just a little congested in my nose area and I don't want to keep coughing on the mic, but I think we're like at an hour for sure. Thank you so much for listening to my first Toxic Tuesday. My studio is so cute, so chic. I'm excited for this new chapter and to get into the mess of it all. Thank you so much for listening. Until the next time, bye.